a further message to the fish fresh out of the water. Okay.
All love of the rainy day.
But the fact that Frank was dealing with a world of animal energies is expressed by that statement in Hit Parader where he said, "Let me tell you about the animals." Okay? And then, of course, my point is I deal with the new animals waving goodbye. Right? The new zoology includes the media forms as animals, which is in the last page of War and Peace in the Global Village. Marshall lays that out in that last section called A Further Message to the Fish Fresh Out of the Water. Okay? Now, when Robert Anton Wilson says that Joyce is a great anthropologist, you have this, it needs to be qualified, because the anthropologist is a connoisseur of cultures as art forms. But Joyce and McLuhan realized that media were art forms, or cultures, but more than cultures. So to be a new kind of anthropologist, you become a student of communications as a connoisseur of media as art forms. So the student of communications is a connoisseur of media as art forms, not just anthropomorphic cultures. All right? An art form is the manifestation of a huge preference for one mode of experience. Asked what music he liked, Mozart said no music. Artists are not consumers. So so this is what
the Frank represented what?
The dog, what manifested the dog energy. You could say Frank was aware of it because in one of the first Hit Parader articles on him, you probably have it in your file. There's a little balloon over his face, probably, over his head, 1966, where he says, "Let me tell you about the animals." You remember that quote? He wants to talk about the animals. We could look that up in your files if you got them in order. And then when he broke up the Mothers, Time magazine in October '69 did that article with him and Gail in front of their house before the fence was put up with that picture. In there, they described the Mothers playing in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh someplace, and they said it sounds like a zoo burning down. Now that relates to cryptic. Frank was doing cryptic zoology. He and Wilson were both involved in Aleister Crowley in some level, so they subconsciously were operating on that. And I guess you could say Wilson did a more sympathetic cryptic zoology, whereas Frank did a manipulative cryptic zoology. This is the media ecology statement. The flood is not something outside our culture, it is self-invasion of privacy, and so it's not catastrophic. We can turn it off if we choose, if we wake up to the fact that the fossils of change are inside the ark of society, not outside. That's what I'm talking about here.
Here he is on
Sing one, Edith.
the Blue Tango. That actually has words of here
Is a verbal universe in which press, movie, radio, TV merge with the languages of the world to form a Phoenix Playhouse of metamorphoses. That's a key statement. A further message to the fish fresh out of the water.